Tonight on KGW News, an explosion sends a massive plume of smoke into the sky. What we know about the damage and injuries from this fire at a food processing plant. Plus, more school boards push to make masks optional before the state lifts its mandate. Then,
this is really a modest step to start to take care of what's becoming a very serious problem in the gorge.
why you'll need permits starting this summer to drive through part of the gorge. But first, the man accused of shooting into a Portland protest now faces serious charges. Your news starts now.
He was very antisocial. It was one of those things that when it came out that it was him, it's like, yep, it was only going to be a matter of time before somebody pushed him too far.
Neighbors are grappling with the latest headlines tied to Saturday's deadly mass shooting. Charges have been filed against the man accused in the shooting, 43-year-old Benjamin Smith. He faces, among other charges, 1 count of second-degree murder and 4 counts of attempted murder. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter. Police say Smith opened fire on a crowd at a racial justice rally in Northeast Portland. Maggie Vespa has the latest.
Benjamin Smith faces 9 counts total, including several for assault. His bail is set at $2 million. And keep in mind, Benjamin Smith is, authorities said on Tuesday, in the hospital, still in serious condition. This after police said someone in the crowd of demonstrators fired back at Smith Saturday to try and stop the shooting, hitting Smith in the hip. Court documents show he lives in an apartment complex near Northeast Portland's Normandale Park, where this rally and shooting happened on Saturday. Witnesses said he confronted people blocking traffic for the demonstration, calling them violent terrorists and ordering them to leave. They said Smith then got angry and started shooting. 6 people total were shot. 1 woman, ID'd as 60-year-old June Knightley, died. Neighbors say they're not surprised. They said Smith was often angry. They said he blamed homeless people for the city's housing crisis, and he was increasingly fixated on the racial justice protests of 2020. His next-door neighbor added this.
He was always a little bit aggressive and kind of protective of his property. There were multiple times over the years that he's brandished guns out at people going through our trash in the courtyard. That was one thing. If you ever got him talking, he would end up talking about whatever gun he's got. He's new one coming or whatever. It was just he always had them out.
Again, the latest update, 43-year-old Benjamin Smith has now been charged with murder and multiple counts of attempted murder in Saturday's deadly mass shooting at a racial justice protest. Court documents also giving new details about the 4 people who were wounded but survived. One of them was shot in the neck and paralyzed from the neck down. The second person was shot multiple times, including in the abdomen, and according to those documents, is still in the hospital. I'm Maggie Vespa, KGW News.
Now let's get you caught up on tonight's other headlines. A massive fire in eastern Oregon is now out following an explosion at a potato chip plant in Hermiston. It happened this afternoon at Shearer's Foods off Highway 207 and was started by a portable boiler that exploded. 6 people were hurt and taken to the hospital. The Umatilla County Fire District said this was the largest fire seen in that area in the last decade. In Vancouver this afternoon, a fire broke out on the roof of the former Red Line Hotel. The empty hotel sits just west of the I-5 bridge. The building is slated to be torn down soon as part of a project to redevelop the pier underneath it. The Vancouver Fire Department says the fire was extinguished and no injuries have been reported. And all lanes of Interstate 84 are back open tonight after this massive pileup we told you about here last night. More than 170 vehicles crashed in the snowy conditions yesterday in eastern Oregon. Crews worked all night to clear that mess, which shut down a nearly 2-mile stretch of the interstate between Pendleton and LeGrand. OSP reports at least 19 people were taken to the hospital. No word on their conditions. The agency hasn't determined yet what caused the pileup, but is recommending drivers avoid the area due to hazardous winter conditions. New tonight, Newburgh became the latest Oregon school district to consider making masks optional before the state of Oregon ends its mandate. Our Alma McCarty has the latest on the schools making the move and the potential consequences of defying the state order. Alma?
Well, Laurel, Newburgh school board members decided not to defy the mask mandate. Board chair Dave Brown said he knows many parents in the district might be frustrated, even angry with this decision, but after hearing the potential consequences, the board agreed going mask optional wasn't worth it.
As it stands currently, after March 31st, school districts have permission from the state to make masks optional for all students and staff. Oregon health leaders cited declining COVID numbers, with hospitalizations projected to fall below pre-Omicron levels before that date. But a handful of school districts are preparing to drop the policy ahead of March 31st, defying the governor's executive order. School boards in Molalla and Redmond voted to make masks optional starting next week. The Alsea School District voted to defy the mask orders in January and lost federal funding. Newburgh school leaders previously announced they would make masks optional starting April 1st, but on Tuesday, board members considered what it would mean if they did this sooner.
This is a polarizing and emotionally charged issue, and we're hearing this play out in school districts across the state of Oregon.
Dr. Dave Novotny, the interim superintendent, presented several potential consequences, including his own plans to resign should the school board vote to go mask optional before the end of March.
I think you can also respect the fact that as a volunteer person who's working a lot of extra hours to support Newburgh, I don't want my parting gift to be an investigation from Teacher Standards and Practices Commission.
Ultimately, they decided not to defy the state rules and keep with the mask mandate.
We have too many things to risk losing right now.
Some of the fines for COVID violations are handled by Oregon OSHA. The spokesperson for OSHA told KGW to date, the agency issued at least 16 citations involving failures by public and private K-12 schools to follow COVID safety protocols. Willful violation penalties can range between $9,000 and $135,000. Board decisions to defy the mask mandate can complicate things for the superintendent of a district. Enacting a policy that defies state rules could put their license at risk, but refusing to follow a school board's directive could put their job at risk. New Oregon legislation would protect superintendents from no-cause termination and make it so boards could not direct a superintendent to ignore or violate state or federal law. Earlier Tuesday, Senate Bill 1521 moved out of the House Committee on Education to the House floor with a do-pass recommendation.
The Oregon Department of Education and OHA are actively working on plans for what happens with quarantine and other mitigation protocols to keep kids in classrooms once masks do become optional. ODE says updated guidance will be released at the end of the month.
Thank you, Alma. Okay, we got to talk about weather now because it's cold out there and getting colder. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino. Matt, how cold is it out there?
As cold as it's been all winter long, and it's going to get colder, as you said, because we're just the beginning of the nighttime. Here's downtown Portland. We're at 30 degrees, but the east wind at 20 is making it feel a good 15 degrees colder than that. Pressure is right, and look at that. The dew point temperature of 5, that's a measure of how dry the air is. Really dry. To only have 35% humidity outside this time of the night, this time of the year, really low. And you take that dry air into your home and warm it up to 65, 70, wherever you keep your thermostat. And your humidity is more like 5%, 10%. So it's really, really dry air. Take up the Cascades right now. If you like it cold, it's 4 at Timberline at the moment. How about that? And the beach is even below freezing. Down at Newport, 30. Low dew point temperature there, and east winds at the beach as well. Other temperatures around town already in the 20s, 27 in Forest Grove, 28 in Hillsborough and Beaverton, 22. There you go, Laurel. There's that
Waiting 22. For that 22.
You wanted that plastered all over the map for
all 22s.
But yes, it is really cold out there, 26 in King City. And by morning, we're going to be seeing widespread temperatures in the teens in the Willamette Valley. We'll go for 19 in Portland, but colder in other parts of the valley because we tend to be a little bit warmer here in the city. 30 at noontime, and we still don't make 40 tomorrow. Also notice that sunrise at 6:59, our first morning of the year with a pre-7 a.m. sunrise. So some more details for you on this. High temperatures below 40 degrees, which is what we had today and we'll have again tomorrow. happens only 7% of the time. Lows in the teens only 2% of the time in Portland, and record lows likely in the morning and again in the afternoon. A lot to look forward to here, Laurel. Back to you.
Okay, we are looking forward to it. Thank you, Matt.